Welcome to the Mills Knows Bills podcast. My name is Mills Bender. I'm the founder and CEO of Mills Knows Bills, where we help you, variable income earners, master your money in 90 days. The point of this podcast is to help you make the most of your fluctuating income so you can stop living paycheck to paycheck, pay off your debt twice as fast, and get on track toward reaching both your personal and professional financial goals. Now, as I continue to grow my team here at MKB, you may have some guest hosts from time to time. However, our goal does not change. Whether we're bringing in a guest speaker, having an in-depth conversation about our personal finances, or talking about a topic that is of interest to you, our goal is to help you master your money. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Mills Knows Bills podcast. I'm your host, as well as founder and CEO of MKB, Mills Bender. On this podcast, we answer business owners' burning financial questions. And through this exchange, they're able to take this information and improve their business over the coming months so that way they can reach their version of financial success. With us today, we have the beautiful, the amazing, the person I want to be when I grow up, Jill Healey. Jill, thank you for joining me today. Please take a moment and introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, Mills. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for joining and listening in. My name is Jill Healey. I am a realtor with the Park Life Group at Keller Williams Winter Park. I have known of Mills for several years and just gotten to know you better in the last year. I'm thrilled to be here today.
We're going to take a quick little sidebar. For those of you who don't know, I actually used to intern for Jill's husband years ago, back in college, and we just put the pieces together. What was it, like 6 months ago?
6 months ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. So we had gotten to know each other and then we connected those dots. But anyway.
I'm actually going to share a quick story of I actually heard all about you back then, and how awesome you were and how talented you were and how you were going to go so far in the financial industry. So fast forward to now, and that prediction came totally true from my husband.
Well, I blush because that was probably the most rewarding internship that I ever had. But anyway, let's get to business. So, Jill, you are in a very unique and amazing opportunity right now. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the shift that you're experiencing? Because I think that'll help make sense of the questions that you have teed up.
Absolutely. So I have a business partner and we are both realtors. So variable income, 100% variable income. We are on a path for growth and we're not quite sure what the metrics are that we need to measure as we're moving forward. You want me to take just a second and tell you a little bit more? So it's 2 full-time realtors, and we have a couple people on our team that are full and part-time. We have a full-time virtual assistant, a part-time marketing associate, and a transaction coordinator that handles contract to close when we're under contract. So what we're looking for is someone to join the team part-time or full-time, I'm not sure, to handle operations and administration in person. And we'd also want that person to handle events. So our burning questions are, how do we do this?
Okay.
Well, how do we do this well?
Okay. So those 3 people currently on your team, plus the potential 4th, they are all going to be fixed pay, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you and your business partner are the only variable.
That's correct.
Is anybody else doing sales besides the 2 of you?
No.
Okay. So the first thing I would look at is establishing a budget inclusive of that 4th fixed pay ops, right? That was the role, operations. Okay. So I would include a budget, including what you want to pay yourself, what your business partner wants to pay herself, the 4 other people, what they need to get paid, plus all other expenses that you need to cover on a month-over-month basis. Let's just say that the monthly nut is $100,000, right? Looking at your average commission, you then want to come up with a sales and operations strategy for how many houses you need to close at what price point in order to make that a reality. So what I would do is start setting yourself up toward achieving those before you even bring in that operations person. If you have a month where you set aside, if you make the full 100K, right? Let's just say this month you make the exact amount that you need, $100,000. Whatever the base pay is for that operations person, because it's included in that 100K budget, set it aside in a separate account. Okay. The second month, let's say you make $120,000. Set aside that base pay plus the $20,000. Okay, because it's $20K over what you actually needed, and operate as though you're already paying that person. Once you get to the point where you either A, have 3 months of that person's pay set aside, and or B, you have gotten enough of a pipeline to where you can see that closing and not having an issue affording that role, that's when you can bring that role in, right? Because theoretically, that person should be alleviating enough of the work from you and your business partner to where once they are trained and once they are onboarded, you will have more time and space to bring in more revenue. Your goal is still the goal. Right. But you want to make sure that you can afford them, because if you're 100% commission and the only sales right now is coming between you and your business partner, you need to know how much you're responsible for of that 100,000, how much they're responsible for that 100,000, and what you need to do as a collective unit to fill that pipeline through marketing, through networking, cold calling, whatever it may be. Once you bring on that ops person, then you have the opportunity to adjust your budget and your goal, but establish your goal right now based off of what the budget needs to be with that person. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Okay. What other questions do you have following up from that?
Yeah. And what metrics would I look at to measure success of this person coming on board over time? How quickly should we be able to increase our, do more sales because things have been taken off our plate? Again, the goal being, let's remove the items that are not revenue generating from our plates to grow the business.
What types of tasks are you wanting them to complete?
So some of those tasks really come about between operations, like the systems, processes, how quickly we're communicating with people, handling some of the additional marketing that we do from events and activities and in-person engagements. And really just allowing us to show up to some of those and meet with people and talk versus having to do all of the planning for some of those events.
Are you absolutely certain that you need a person to do this job rather than software?
I guess not entirely, but we've been trying with the team that we have, and we can't make any progress. So for some of the in-person events, I think, yes, we do.
Sure.
But I'm open to exploring other options as well.
So if it's a matter of, I would explore software first to see how much that can handle for you, because that will be more cost effective in the long run. And that's something that you can start implementing now to open up space off of your plate and your business partner's plate to then bring in that additional revenue that you would need to bring in order to hire that person. So It might be just a smidgen. It might solve 25% of the problem. But if that 25% alleviation gives you the ability to bring in 25% more revenue, that's a great win.
Right. Oh, we'll take it.
Right.
We haven't seen, I haven't seen a lot of implementations of that.
Okay.
And maybe it's just that agents haven't really shared. Sometimes we keep things a little bit close to the vest and we don't share best practices until later on. Yeah. That's really an interesting thought. I hadn't really thought of that.
Maybe also explore software that's not technically meant for you. There might be other software out there that will help you get there. You can even create custom integrations. So if something happens over here, log it over there, right? And I'm not the most technologically savvy person out there, but I know enough to be dangerous to know who to talk to figure that type of information out. But I would maybe think outside the box on the software side just to solve the short-term problem. Right. And then in terms of metrics, have you read the book Traction by Gino Wickman?
I love it. I actually, since we already talked about my husband for a second, I actually introduced it to him probably about 8 or 9 years ago, and he introduced it to his sales team.
Perfect.
And they all follow it. And it's somewhere behind me.
Somewhere.
On the bookshelf.
Yeah. It's been kind of a theme for today. I've talked about it on a couple episodes already. Are you familiar with the website 90? I think it's 90.io.
No.
So it's in tandem with that book, and it will help you create those quarterly rocks discussed with it. And so that's a software that you can have that ops person log into and keep track of all the metrics. What I would have them keep track of are metrics that are actually in their control. So for example, my new sales and account manager, I'm not having him track necessarily how many sales he closes. I'm having him track all of the metrics that are actually in his control. How many networking groups he's going to, how many meetings he's scheduling as a result. Out of those, how many discovery calls is he booking? Out of those, how many people are closing? So we do keep track of the sales closed, but we look at what's the root of what I need from that person, right? I need him to generate revenue, but I can't just say, go make $5,000 right now, right? There's certain metrics and tasks that he needs to complete in order to get there. So what I would encourage you to do is look at the root cause of the output that you want that person to have, identify 3 to 5 options that are in their control to then keep track of so they can identify what's working, what's not working, and you can move on from there. 90 days is about 13 weeks. What I would encourage you to do, and this is something that was actually encouraged to me because I'm somebody who doesn't love micromanaging, but there are certain roles that they thrive in that type of environment. What you and I find as micromanaging is them viewing as structured, right? And so what he suggested was before you even hire them, try to fire them. Find reasons why you should not even hire them in the first place, right? Second thing is make your expectations so abundantly clear and have them tell you why they could not meet those expectations, right? So you're going to have weekly meetings with them for the first 4 weeks. And if they're still not hitting those certain expectations, they're probably not the best fit. You'll know within 30 days if they're the best fit or not. If it's a matter of not having the right training in place, that's something that you get to help them throughout. But like 90 days should be your cutoff for sure. But within the first 4 weeks, you will know. And you can pull the data from that quarterly rocks, wherever you're tracking it, Excel, 90.io, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if that role, that person does not fit for that role, you're not firing them. You're just the messenger. Because then you have the data to show that they are not living up to the expectations of that role. So try to fire them before you hire them. Frankly speaking, I also try to fire myself from being somebody's leader before I bring them onto my team. Because if they don't want to jive with my level of crazy, that's fine. But I lay it all out there. I'm like, this is how I am, right? This is what I do well. This is what I'm working on. This is what I need you to hold me accountable for as your leader, right? And so I make it, I'm very candid with them. And some people have straight up said, no, I that's not going to work for me. And that's okay. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. So the metrics should be reviewed once a week. And you should know by the end of 4 weeks if you're either going to continue throughout the first 90 days or if you're going to sever the relationship from there.
Okay. That's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Of course. Anything else?
I did write a couple other things down.
Go for it.
So you actually kind of answered them. My other questions were if we're looking at the non-revenue generating tasks that are being taken off our plate, how should we plan for our growth? How should we take our schedules and go, okay, let's fit more in? But based on what you just said, we really just need to look at those numbers. What are we missing out on currently by not having an additional team member, and fill it with those activities, those meetings, the discovery calls, listing appointments and things like that. So you kind of already answered it.
I did, but I don't think I said this. You need to also have a quarterly rock sheet for yourself too.
We do.
Perfect. And so if you're able to see an increase in the output that you're able to do as a result of that person coming in, then that's great.
Wonderful.
Anything else?
That's it.
Wow. That went faster than I thought.
I know, it really did.
Awesome. So
I'm sure as soon as we stop talking, I'll think of 5 or 6 more.
That tends to happen.
But thank you so much for having me on here today. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Before I let you go, I want you to tell everybody a little bit more about what you do, who you're looking for, how you can help, where they can find you.
Absolutely. So I'm in residential real estate. I help people buy, sell, and invest. I started from the investment side of things when we wanted to invest in our first rental property. I was working part-time and thought, I can manage this. And I really learned a lot. It was very eye-opening. My husband and I bought 13 properties in 18 months in California and here. I renovated and learned everything from that side. And my friends started asking if I could go with them and the realtor. I realized I might need to switch careers. So I started that in 2017, became a residential realtor. And I love working with buyers trying to find their dream home or people looking to sell and downsize. In Central Florida, we have a lot of people looking for that second home, going out to the beach or going near Disney, and always investment properties as well.
Awesome.
They can find me through parklifeorlando.com or on social media under Jill Healey or Park Life Orlando.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Are you currently looking for applicants for your new operations role?
Absolutely. Happy to see and meet with anyone interested.
That's a, unorthodox way to also get some people. Is that role remote, in person?
It would probably be a hybrid.
Okay.
Because we host and we're title sponsors for a few events in the area in Central Florida, it would need to be here for some of those events. But we are moms. We partner together so that we could have a work-life balance, and we want someone who respects that as well.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day. I've really loved getting connected with you over the podcast, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. Have a great one.
You too.